Coming up tonight on Sports Extra, we have so much college football to talk about, from the playoff to title games to bowl games and everything in between. There's a lot of drama that goes with that. Plus the Falcons, they lost again, and the major problems continue to be the same. How the heck are we going to get through these next 4 weeks? Well, we try to figure it out.
You know, to win back-to-back SEC championships, it's I know every kid in this footprint's dream, and an honor to be at Georgia and be able to be the head coach here and win games like this.
You saw a team all come to fruition for the last 12 months or whatever it is. Those guys put their heart and soul on the line, and man, it was just a magical moment in my mind.
And the biggest sporting event in the entire planet, it is coming to Atlanta. The World Cup will be here in the summertime. We're going to break down the draw and so much more. Sports Extra, it starts now. All right, here we go. When there's a 12-team college football playoff, you know there's going to be people not so happy. Yeah. But the Georgia Bulldogs, they are happy, or at least I think so. They may not be happy about the seeding, but we'll get into all that stuff. We got two guys who know everything about football in this town. Joe Patrick from 92.9 The Game ate a sad burger when he came into the newsroom.
I did.
It was a sad atmosphere.
It was. It was that kind of day. I've been through it today, Maria. So we're all going to get through it together, talking about this Falcons team.
I know.
Tonight.
He said he had a cold burger, and he was like, you know what, I'm just going to suffer through the burger like I did the game earlier today. Cody Chaffins from DawgNation, kind enough to join us after the SEC championship. You're on the flip side of things. There was confetti, and everybody's having a good time.
Sandwiches. It was great.
Everybody was having a good time inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. One day it will flip the script, I hope. You go from pure joy on Saturday to sadness on Sunday.
That's what keeps us going.
Yeah, you know, kudos to the guys that flipped that building. But let's talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. They get the 3 seed in the college football playoff. So a lot of people thought perhaps they should be ranked higher. However, they're going to wait for the winner of Tulane Ole Miss. They will meet up in the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. A little bit of deja vu from last season. Cody, what do you think about how that initial ranking shook out for the Dogs?
Yeah, I think at first you were a little bit, maybe they should have moved to 2. Well, then you saw how the bracket flipped out, and you're like, man, I kind of like where Georgia's at. I would much rather get the winner of Tulane and Ole Miss rather than Texas A&M and Miami. Yeah, if you were number 2, which is where Ohio State sits, that's who you'd be awaiting. And you mentioned it. Georgia was in New Orleans way too long last year. He had all the things with Kirby Smart's father to the terrorism attack. So not a lot of great memories there, but maybe that'll fire this team up. This team is playing as good as they've been. The best news about it, you took care of business in the SEC championship. Now you get those weeks off. Everybody looked banged up at the end of yesterday's game, whether it was Chauncey Bowens, who Kirby Smart said today he felt like he would be okay. But you got other guys that are going to try and heal up over the next few weeks. You got a little time to rest your bones a little bit, and maybe they learned from last year about the long layoff. That was the big concern everybody's asking Kirby Smart about. He says he's still not sure how he's going to handle the layoff and have his team ready to play on New Year's Day.
Yeah, certainly a favorable side of the bracket for the Dogs for sure. And, you know, when you're looking at it and you see Ohio State at number 2, a lot of people thought perhaps they'd drop further down. But if you're Kirby Smart, it's nobody thinks we're good enough to be number 2. That's what you tell your team up until the game there in New Orleans. Let's talk about Georgia's playoff path. We think that it looks pretty easy, Joe. What do you think when you've got the winner of Miami, Texas A&M waiting to play Ohio State, and then who knows what happens past that?
My Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yes, I know.
And I'm a little offended that this is an easy road for Georgia, considering these two teams are going to meet up, which I think Ohio State, and despite the fact that Ohio State lost to Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, I actually still think that Ohio State and Georgia are the 2 best teams in the country.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to – I thought that could potentially be a championship matchup before, obviously, the bracket comes out and the championship conference championship games were played yesterday. Yeah. But I'm really, really excited to see if those teams could match up again in the semifinal.
I think, to be fair, I think Cody was talking about really my alma mater, so we're going to go there.
And you know what? I woke up this morning and I accidentally put this – I'm wearing Tulane colors, and I apologize for that. But it's going to be really interesting to see if Ole Miss, if they can get past Tulane, which they probably should, the big favorite, already beat them this year. But if they get past them, what does that team look like when you have a Lane Kiffin-less they scored on every possession
through
the first 3 quarters against Georgia. Is that the same Ole Miss team that you're going to get potentially in the Sugar Bowl?
Yeah,
what do you think? I'm curious as the Ole Miss fan here. What do you think about that?
I just thought that they were going to have this matchup no matter what because it's such an incredible storyline. You have 2 programs where on one side of things you have John Summerall doing everything right with Tulane and sticking around, and his players want to play for him. It's such a cool story. Ole Miss on the other side is playing with an interim turned full-time head coach, and there are a lot of discrepancies in the staff, and so it's just such a good storyline that I knew the College Football Playoff Committee is thinking we could talk about this for the next 3 weeks. So go ahead.
Lane and Kirby are buddies.
Yeah.
Is there any way with the bad feelings that Lane has towards Ole Miss, he helps George out a little bit, sends him a note or two about
Who knows? Look, this is Lane Kiffin. I've stopped trying to guess what he does, okay? Listen, if Ole Miss somehow ends up in New Orleans, which I do believe they will, I think that he's going to be at the top of that stadium looking in and trying to sneak his way in and see his former team because he's there in Louisiana now. Take a look at the College Football Playoff bracket. Like I mentioned off the top of the show, 12 teams. It's the first time that you have 12 teams in there. Someone was going to get left out. Someone would be hurt. In this case, it would be Notre Dame. This is the second time we've had this extended playoff, but Notre Dame was the first team out. A lot of people very frustrated with that. The question around Mercedes-Benz Stadium yesterday throughout the media was, does Alabama get into the College Football Playoff? Cody, they got in. Do you believe that they were deserving of that?
They limped in. I don't think that they deserved it, but what's not going to happen was the SEC wasn't going to let a team that played in their championship game have that cost them. And the SEC has so much pull in this thing now with the Big Ten that they weren't going to let that happen because they like the championship game. They don't want it to go away. If that happened where Bama got left out, that really puts the championship game on the ropes.
Joe, what do you think about that?
I ultimately actually agree with that. And it was something that I really wrestled with when I was watching Alabama get destroyed by Georgia on Saturday. I was like, I don't need to watch Alabama again. I know who Alabama is, but at the same time, I understand what Cody was explaining, why they would want to avoid the precedent of a conference championship game loser getting then knocked out of this playoff bracket. And I gotta say, when you just look at the playoff bracket, as the college football fan, how can you not love some of these matchups? I mean, this is, for all the controversy, there's always going to be controversy whenever you're selecting teams for this kind of thing, but an Oregon-Texas Tech matchup is fantastic. An Alabama-Oklahoma winner against Indiana, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see all of these games that transpire, maybe outside, like maybe Tulane Ole Miss might be the one that or JMU Oregon. Okay, sorry. JMU Oregon's maybe the one that's going to be the least interesting of the initial round, but it's going to be just a fantastic event overall.
And remember, Tulane lost really bad to Ole Miss the first time around. I'm pretty sure John Summerall will make sure that it's a little bit closer the second time around. Let's talk about the SEC championship game. Talk about not being close. Georgia was dominant in all 4 quarters of that ball game. Cody, why are they playing their best football right now?
They've really pulled it together on defense. That's what the big difference was in the first game against Alabama. They couldn't get off the field on 3rd down, but last night able to get off the field on 3rd down right off the bat. I think a big part of it is Georgia starting to figure out their pass rush a little bit, whether that was bringing in the 5-star freshman Zayden Walker to come off the edge or mixing things up a little bit, getting some more confidence in guys like Gabe Harris. Quintavious Johnson had a big game yesterday. The defense is coming together. The offense looked better than it did against Georgia Tech and did all their things, but they got really helped out by the special teams and the defense, and that was the key to that game.
Alabama had not lost a game inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium until yesterday. Pretty sure Georgia was very happy about that. The players kept saying that was the message all week, was enough was enough. You know what enough is enough? The Kennesaw State Owls not getting enough recognition. They had 2 wins last year. They turn it into a 10-win season. They win a Conference USA championship. Mind you, this is their 2nd year playing FBS football. The turnaround by Jerry Mack is unbelievable, Joe. How would you describe this magical run they're on?
Jerry Mack should be up for Coach of the Year, in my opinion, right up there with Kurt Zanetti. I know they're obviously playing it's different levels in terms of like the overall size and prestige of the schools, but the ability to have that turnaround is so rare in this game. You have to be able to connect with so many different players in order to kind of get everybody on the same page. So what he's done with that program is incredible, and all I have to say is hooty hoo.
Just wow, yeah, hooty hoo for sure. And just the fallout with Bohannon and the exit and then turning that program around. It's been incredible. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you think about when the NCAA football game came out, it was such a joke. I'm going to play with Kennesaw State. Really? Kennesaw State?
That's funny.
And they are conference champions. And that game's like a year old. So, yeah, the turnaround and the amount of time that's happened to get everybody pointed in the same direction, really incredible.
Guys, I saw Kennesaw State flags flying in my neighborhood for the first time since I lived here. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. We'll finish with another very cool thing. Georgia Tech making the Pop-Tarts Bowl. If you're a fan of college football and you're not a fan of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, I don't know what to tell you. And the visual of Brent Key just chomping on some it's going to be unbelievable. I'm so excited for this game. What do you think about this matchup with BYU?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And I think a great opportunity for Georgia Tech to kind of really put on a show on a national stage. You know, that we kind of joke about the Pop-Tart Bowl, but I actually think a lot of people are going to be watching the Pop-Tart Bowl because of the spectacle that the Pop-Tart Bowl has become. And so this is a great opportunity for Brent Key and this program to really start to establish themselves on that stage in order to get those big-time recruits and getting those big transfers that you need to be a successful program. Those are the kinds of wins you have to have, and so I'm excited to see it. I think they match up well.
The fact that he was just already commenting on his favorite flavor of Pop-Tart, the content's going to be unbelievable, guys. And just don't forget, Kennesaw State does play Western Michigan in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. That is also a great accomplishment for Jerry Mack and the Owls. Coming up, we got to flip the script a little bit. The Falcons dropping their 9th game of the season, and it was quite the disastrous second half. That man right there has a lot of hard decisions to make in Arthur Blank. We'll talk about that next. No way to sugarcoat it here. The Falcons, it just keeps getting worse for them, and especially when you're playing a Seattle Seahawks team and it looked competitive in the first half. They were tied 6-6. All of a sudden, the floodgates opened for Seattle, 37-9, a blowout. It was the worst loss for the Falcons inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Not that the Benz is that old, but I digress. It's still a pretty tough thing to hear, Joe. You were inside the building for this one. What the heck happened in the second half?
Second half was a nightmare, and it started with a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, as we can see there, which has been obviously a recurring problem for this team and something that Raheem Morris is going to have to continue to answer for. Marquise Williams, the special teams coordinator, is going to once again be under fire. But in talking to the players after the game, you could really tell, and from the coaches, that play really kind of began the unraveling of the Falcons today. The Seahawks made better offensive adjustments at halftime than the Falcons made on defense, and they started to carve them up with that passing game. And we did see why the Seahawks are a bit of a wagon right now. I mean, they are a very good football team with not a lot of vulnerabilities. It was actually credit to the Falcons how well they played in that first half, but ultimately they just didn't really have the horses to keep up with them in that second half.
But how many times do we have to say that this season?
I know.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's every single game. It's they were so close. Not today, obviously. This is a little bit different, but they don't have enough to get it done. Similar situation in the second half today, but he's right. The 100-yard kickoff return is so backbreaking for momentum in a ball game. Special teams, as Joe mentioned, has been an issue consistently throughout really the last couple of weeks. How do you fix that at this point, Cody?
Yeah, it just straight up cost you the game against the Jets last week. And it's not like it's one thing, right? It's not like it's just kickoff return. Last year, so that's kick coverage.
Yeah.
Well, then last week it was punt return. Today you had the field goal. But it's everybody in that.
Field goal block was wild.
I think you've got to make a change as special teams coordinator, but it's really, I don't know if that's going to change things overnight. It's really about the details of getting all those things right.
One of the issues I had in this game was they have a field goal that's blocked in the first half.
Yeah.
The first field goal they attempt should have been blocked. There was a player there that was there to block it, just kind of missed actually hitting the ball. And you would think that after that happens the initial time, you get to the sideline, you look at the tape, you clean that up. But no, the second time they go out for a field goal, the exact same problem happens on that right side. And that's the kind of recurring issues that we're seeing on special teams and throughout the rest of the team that really has Falcons fans fed up at this time of the year.
Yeah, and honestly, players are pretty frustrated as well. They're not going to outright tell you how frustrated they are, but you can see it in the demeanor on the sideline. John Abraham, who you're going to hear in the next block, he talks about this a lot. He talks about the demeanor on the sideline with these guys. They always look kind of deflated. That's what happens when you win 4 games in a football season at this point in the year. Cody, what do you do from here? Because you're not playing for the playoffs at this point. They still are not going to make the playoffs now. The last time they did was 2017. What do you play for?
Right. You play for pride. I mean, these guys are playing for contracts, right?
Yeah,
so these guys,
It's a little
they
different.
all have a job to do, and they're, especially a lot of these guys could end up other places moving forward. Tyler Algier going to be a free agent at the end of this year. So, yeah, you've got some pride to play. But what do? You can fire folks, and things are going to happen. We're going to see Raheem Morris. We'll probably see Terry Fontenot. It's all going to – the dominoes are going to fall when they fall. doesn't matter, the season's kind of lost, and for the 8th straight year they're going to have a losing record, which ties, like, I think back to the Falcons when I was growing up, miserable those first few years of my life, 82 to 90. And they're matched that. And this is a league that's built to make everybody come back to the mean, and the Falcons cannot get back to the mean. So it's really, really frustrating. And yeah, you can make the firing. It's not going to make a difference this year. You're really going to have to clean house at the end of the year.
The Falcons have lost 7 of their last 8 football games. It's kind of hard to do that in the NFL, especially when you're going for it like the Falcons are. They've invested in quarterback position. They've invested money and draft picks into this team, and they're getting no results for it.
Yeah, I think what's really frustrating for everyone is that it's not one issue. You heard them break down all of that stuff so eloquently. It's not one thing. It's about 5,000 things. So I think that's the biggest thing, and we'll see what obviously ultimately pans out with the coaching staff and what goes on from here. So for tonight's Georgia Spotlight, hard to believe that we haven't said his name this year, but we're going to give it to a former Georgia Bulldog, Mr. Matthew Stafford. Stafford's been having an unbelievable MVP caliber season, and today, absolutely no exception. 22 of 31, 281 yards, 3 tutties in the Rams' dominant 45-17 win over the Cardinals. 17 years in the league, and this guy just keeps on showing up. He's unbelievable. Coming up, guys, I mentioned him earlier, John Abraham. He's in the house with us. You got to know he's got a lot of opinions. He always does. That's next. All right, so not a lot of legendary things happening for the Falcons right now, which means we need to bring in reinforcements and bring a true legend in the house. John Abraham joins us. He was truly one of the best to ever wear a Falcons uniform, and he's going to break down what he saw inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium today because you were present for that blowout. What was the biggest takeaway that you had from that loss?
Oh, man, it was so many bad things, whether it was special teams, whether it was defense or offense. And excuse my outfit, but I came in as a fan. They had Legend Week.
Yeah.
First of all, big shout out to everything else because the Falcons do a great job of keeping people entertained.
Yeah.
And I see why, because the team is not entertaining right now.
Yeah.
Whether it's on offense, on defense, or special teams, block, kick. And we just talked about last week, Raheem made it evident that the special teams was a problem. And to give up a kick return on the first play of the second half, and that pretty much went right back into the let's go or here we go situation with me in my mind. And you just seen the whole stands and everybody just deflate. Like I was watching the game and
leave.
Yes, and I was like, here we go. And after that, I kind of knew it was over with. But once I departed, I kind of watched the rest of the game and I saw how just like it's no inspiration. There's no one trying to say, let's get back in this game. It was 6-6 at half. Y'all played exceptionally well. And it wasn't lucky out there. Y'all was playing with confidence, but then you seen the confidence go right after that, just one kick.
It's one of those things where Seattle's clearly a very good team this year. They're in talks of many different playoff forms at this very moment. And when they come into the Falcons stadium and they're tied at halftime, you think, wow, the Falcons have a chance against a really good team. You see a 100-yard kickoff return that John is mentioning. At that point in the game, you said you felt like all hope was lost. Why was that the momentum shifter for you?
Like I said, it's the let's go situation that they have. Like, and I'm not, I don't want to talk about coaches. I don't want to talk about the players, specifically. But as a team, who is going to be the guy to say, okay, dog, that was a one play? Yeah. That one play ended up being the whole game. The whole game turned and transformed into, oh my God, this is a bad team. Beginning of the game, oh God, everybody's excited. Everybody eating nachos. Everybody eating the free pizza and stuff like that, having a good time.
Right.
But then, like right after that, it was just like the deflation come. And you look on the sidelines, you see people like talking like this compared to let's go. You don't see people with their helmets off trying to get up here. You don't see Kirk Cousins, the guy that's trying to win his position back because he felt like he got faltered or he felt like he was the right person for the job. Yeah. This is the kind of stuff you need. Raheem has got to stop apologizing for his team looking like this. It's to the point that, I'm a big Raheem guy, but as a player and even as wanting to be a coach or being a commentator, you have to stop apologizing because that's what you're putting out on the film.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that are wrong with this team right now. It starts with coaching and the players. You look across the board, there are a lot of issues. You only win 4 games at this point in the season, and it doesn't look like they could be winning anytime soon. Hope that's not the case. But now, John, you're missing the playoffs. You still have not made a playoff since 2017. It's the 8th straight losing season. What do you play for at this point in the year?
pride and you play for your jobs. I mean, just be honest. Like, if I'm out there, it's 4 games and it's 4 good teams. You know, you got Tampa, you got LA, you got the Saints coming back. So you got good teams that's coming up. The Saints just had a miraculous win and ended up beating Tampa.
Yeah.
This is like, I got a 4-game stretch now. This is my season. I don't got nothing else going on. We're going to finish 4-0. We're going to finish 3-1. We're going to finish with a winning record at the end of the thing. Because for me, Raheem, I'm trying to keep my job. I want to show that these players love me. I want to show these players want to play for me. Like, sure, you know, losing Penix, you know, Bijan fumbling. You know, we have these ups and downs, but I want them to show that these guys at the end of the year, you know what, it wasn't Raheem, it was us. You know, I want somebody to stand on it. Like, we didn't play as well. We had some stuff that happened. I want the negatives to be pushed aside, and you see all the positive that I can bring to this team.
Let's go back to the game for a second, because Seattle's defense, we know, has been very menacing. They're very good this year. They showed that once again against the Atlanta Falcons, forcing 3 turnovers and really just making an uncomfortable day for the Falcons offense. What did you notice from Seattle specifically that made Kirk Cousins and everybody else just struggle, especially in the second half?
The thing that I said that we don't have that let's go.
Yeah.
We don't have that let's go. When they made that one play, you just seen the whole team. The first half, I was like, who is this squad for Seattle? Because they look horrible. And I was happy. I was like, okay, we're going to play good. You know, I still thought we might have lost the game, but I thought it'd be a closer game. I thought it'd be a more fundamentally sound game at the end of the game.
Sure.
But it faltered. And that's why I said that we have that here we go thing. Like, we have that losing mentality. And I don't like saying that about this team because I know these players and I know these people personally. I think we put a big bandage on it because we're sacking. We're getting so many sacks, but our back end has been terrible all year. You know, Watt's been playing well. We haven't seen Jesse Bates, you know, playing like we want him to play. But this is a team that we got to find out what we're going to do these last 4 games, because you have a lot of rookies that are going to be back here next year. It's not. This is going to be the depth, and this is going to be the perception of the team for the rest of their careers. So we need them to step up, because that's what's really popping off now. Those are the best guys on your team, are really your rookies.
Those are the guys, and you don't have a first-round draft pick next year. It makes things even more challenging, I think, for Atlanta moving forward. But when you think about first-round draft picks, what comes to mind is the 2 that they picked this past draft, and one of them is shining so brightly. I want to give him a little bit of a spotlight, especially for a guy that knows what he's talking about when it comes to this. James Pierce Jr., he has a sack in each of his last 5 games. It's the most since Micah Parsons. He is so fun to watch. He's got such a bright future. Why is he the bright spot on this team right now?
Because everybody else playing so bad. Let's just be real.
Stop it.
And I mean, everybody else is playing so bad. I mean, and obviously he started this game, and that's something I said that Albrecht talked about. He got to find 4 guys that can get to the quarterback without blitzing, and that's what he's doing. And he hasn't even matured yet. Once you find out what he really can do, and we find out like what he naturally has, it's going to be crazy to watch him for the next few years. And yeah, I'm scared for all my little records I put up. but once we get him and Walker playing together on the same accord, and they have to keep switching people out, because sometimes, you know, the knowledge of the plays are not as great as you want it to be. But we can't take anything from him. We just want to see what he can bring. But like I said, like a lot of other people, especially in the back end, you know, especially on offense now, we got to be able to move the ball. Zach Robbins, but we got to be able to change stuff up so we don't have to worry about a rookie being this particular and this being the position we need to be talking about right now.
How have you seen him evolve throughout the year?
Like I said, more like maturity.
Yeah.
Like when I talked to him a couple weeks ago, I could tell he was kind of like, you know, I'm good. But I think now when you start making records and when you start seeing that you belong in the game, when he did that spin move last week, I was like, oh yeah, he's comfortable. And you can see the comfortable coming to him. He told me he did a little alteration to his gloves to make sure he's doing this. So you see the maturity in him. He sees that, you know, at first, you know, Walker was starting and he was kind of like, coming off the bench, but then, you know, went to Berlin. Oh, he started getting on a little roll. Now you see him maturing like, dude, this could be my team. This could be my defense. And being a 2nd round pick, he was a 1st round pick, but he was the 2nd pick in the 1st round. I told him I was the same way with Sean Ellis. Sean was picked first, and I was like, bruh, like, I know the hunger now because, I was a 1st round pick, but y'all didn't want me first.
Something to prove.
Let me show y'all this, and I think that's what he's doing now.
Yeah, that's a fun mentality, and especially like you're talking about, when you're getting some accolades, you have a sack in your last 5 games, he's starting to feel like he belongs. That's going to be fun to watch next year. Last question for you, John. It's hard to culminate. What exactly needs to happen for the Falcons? It's hard to put your finger on one thing to fix this entire team because I don't think it's one fix. I think there's so many different things. Where do you start?
Like I said before, these last 4 games.
Okay.
Like we got to start from tomorrow. Like, look, I'm Raheem coming in here. Like, look, That game's out of the way. This whole season is done. Like, all this is done. We got 4 games. We got 4 games to max out. If y'all want to get a lot of interceptions, tell me. If y'all want to get a lot of sacks, let's do that. If y'all want to, we want Bijan to slide into the Pro Bowl. It might not make sense to y'all, but hey, let's give him the ball. Let's do what we good at. And turning the ball over isn't. Special teams, y'all not doing well. I don't want to say what I wanted to say, but y'all not doing well. Let's step it up this thing. We got 4 games. We don't have to worry about the playoffs. Let's just give it all. Don't worry about getting hurt. Don't worry about, being wrong. Do everything at full speed and don't look for the other guy to make the play that you can make.
Perfect. I think that there is a lot wrong with this team, and I also do think that it's going to take quite a bit of time for things to turn around. A lot of people questioning whether or not Raheem Morris is the man for the job. I don't think that question will be answered anytime soon, but we'll see. You never know. For John Abraham, thank you so much. We'll be right back. I'll tell you what, Atlanta is becoming a hotbed for soccer for sure, but even more so because the biggest sporting event on the planet is coming here in the summertime. These two, they know soccer. That's just putting it mildly. Okay, World Cup is going to be here, and now we know which teams are going to be present for some of these group stage matches. Joe, you look at this and you say, there are some exciting things in here. What should people be looking forward to at the Benz?
I mean, Spain is the best team in the world, probably. You're going to be able to see them twice, which is amazing. Obviously, whenever you're seeing a World Cup game in person at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, an amazing venue, it's going to be awesome. But Maria, outside of this, it's going to be a party every single day of the World Cup.
So
there's
cool.
going to be outdoor parties at Piedmont Park, I'm sure, all over the place with big screen projectors, with people getting together to watch these games all around, not just Atlanta, but the state of Georgia. I know that this has been kind of in the works, even dating back to when Darren Eales was at Atlanta United. He had all these thoughts about what could be during this World Cup. So it's really going to be an amazing event.
It's so cool because all of the revitalization projects of the downtown area were all in preparations for this event. I don't think people who have ever been around a World Cup understand the magnitude of something like this coming to our city. It's going to be so special. Cody, when you look at those group stage matches, what stands out?
So for me, I think back to the Olympics when you think about the world coming here. So Cabo Verde, I just learned, or Cape Verde, they are the Blue Sharks. You got South Africa, Bafana is there again. All these teams that you've heard about or not necessarily Cape Verde, but other teams that you've heard about. Spain coming to our city, and just thinking about, the groups of people who are going to be so excited, the Haitians in Morocco. One of the other things can I be honest, if I'm excited, Uzbekistan could play the winner of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Jamaica, or New Caledonia. I'm kind of excited about that kind of game, because boy, I've been trying to get tickets to this, and I think it's really hard. I'm not going to get in the Spain match, but maybe that's the place. June 27th, maybe that's how I get in the bin so I can say I've seen a World Cup.
And by the way, there's going to be even better games than what were shown there, because there will be knockout stage games that we just don't know who the teams are going to be. But the United States could be one of those teams. The United States could potentially be playing in Atlanta in a semifinal. That means you're going to be getting an England versus Brazil or a France versus Argentina. You're going to get a massive game between powerhouse nations in that semifinal, and it's just going to be an amazing event.
You guys think United States has a good path? We have 30 seconds.
And the United States has a very manageable group. It's very winnable. It's in part by the fact that they're a host nation, so they get kind of put in with all the other top teams, and then they draw from there. So kind of set up for them to do well, but I expect them to do well, and they're rounding into form right now.
It's going to be a party right here in Atlanta when the World Cup comes here in the summertime. I can't wait. We're getting you guys ready for all things World Cup and for bowl season. Bowl season is upon us, everybody. Enjoy the games that are coming up, and we'll keep you posted on all of our local teams. Have a great night.